Welcome to St Ark Designs, and in this video I will be teaching you how to create an illustrative poster for a cannabis dispensary. But before we begin, I would like to ask that you like, share, comment, and most of all subscribe and turn on post notifications so you are notified every time I post. And like I said, in this tutorial I show you how to create an illustrative poster that will be used to be put up in the shop as an infographic and will be used to sell to customers so that we can create a community that is well endowed, and a community that is more than just shopping, that has additional items and merchandise. I think this is good as add-ons to the brand design that you're going to do for any cannabis dispensary, so they're going to be able to put these up in shop or to give free to their customers if they purchase beyond a certain limit. But anyway, let's begin. So what I want you to do is to start off by going on Pinterest and searching up an image of a poster that you would like to recreate, not recreate so to say, but that you will take inspiration from. I found one and then I put it into ChatGPT, and then I specified what I want from ChatGPT, how it should format it, and then it created this image that I imported, this 420 as the red one. And what I want to do is to use this image and alter it and use it for our client. So and now what I want to do is to import two images that we're going to use to identify our color palette for the poster. I'm gonna import this favicons logo because it has the two primary colors that I'm gonna use for the poster for both variants. So now what I'm going to do is pull out the text tool and write the text 420, and then I'm going to select the font that I want and scroll down until I get a font that I really like. Then I'm going to select the text tool, not the text tool, but the text, and then I'm going to go to path, and then I'm going to click object to path to switch it from text into a path. So that way, when I go into the path tab again and I click break apart, it will break apart and give me the individual numbers as a selection and not just the whole number as a selection, if you understand what I'm saying. And then what I want to do is just to bring back that open space in the middle of the O so that we can see it's a 0 and not just a circle. So I'm going to click that small object, and what I want to do is to raise it to the top, raise the small object to the top. Then I want to press shift and click onto the 0, and then I'm going to the path tab, and then I'm going to click difference. And then what I do there, I also want to do for the 4 so that we can bring back that little space, that open space in the middle of the 4, so that it gives it more detail, if you understand what I'm saying. And now what I'm going to do in the middle of the 4, I don't really like how it looks. I feel as if the space in the middle is too small, so I'm going to try and enlarge it a little bit so that we have more space and not just a little space. And then I'm going to format the 4.2 and the 0 properly. There is not a specific way that you should format it. You don't need to copy my format. You can make your own way or use your own way to format it, or whatever goes. So now that I'm done altering them individually, what I want to do is I want to select all the numbers individually, and I'm going to go into the path tab and click union. But you don't really need to worry about doing this now and or later. You can even do it when you're done with the whole design, so that you can just unionize them when you're done designing or when you're done making alterations and all of that, so that it's easy to change the format or change how they're sitting or change however. But when you're done, what I want you to do is to unionize them by going into the path tab and clicking union. And now what I'm going to do is click on the letters as I'm done altering them and formatting them. Is click on the letters, click D, and then press on the desired color that I want the letters to be. And D is the dropper tool. If you did not know what D does when you have selected an object, it just pulls up the dropper tool and makes it easier to select, to copy colors that are on the screen instead of having to go into your fonts and colors tab to change it. And then what I want to do is now create a drop shadow by going into the filters tab. Like I said, by going into the filters tab, clicking shadows and glows, and then select drop shadow. And then the blur color, I want you to set it to black, blur radius 00, or you can set it to what you would like. And then the horizontal offset, I want you to play with that until you're satisfied, and the vertical offset. Make sure, so you can see the changes as you're making them, make sure to toggle on live preview. That makes it so you can see the changes as you make them, and you can continue going into the shadows and glow to make the shadow more and or less. And then what I want to do is open my fill and strokes tab, and then what I want to do is just to create a stroke around the numbers, so that it gives it that more 3D popping effect, if you understand what I'm saying. But it just makes it more visually appealing. Then play around with the stroke style. Then what I want to do is just to use the align and distribute tool to align it vertically and horizontally. So now what I want to do is, by using the image, I want to trace and create this joint illustration, which is, I must say, the backbone of our design. So using the Bezier tool, I'm just gonna carefully trace around the image, ensuring that I do take account to all the contours, the curves, the corners, the edges, just so when I'm doing this tracing, I'm very accurate. And now what I want you to do is to select the object, and then after selecting the object that you have now traced and created, what I want you to do is to go into the fill and strokes tab or the layers tab and lower its opacity. And then I want you to put the object behind the original image of the plant. And now what I want to do using the Bezier tool, I want to create the strokes. You see those black strokes on the joint object that makes it look like a paper that's crinkled up, or that makes it look like the folds of a paper, but it makes it more real. It's like shading in a way, but just using strokes. So I want to do that by using the Bezier tool. And now, as you can see, I have fast forwarded to when I've created the blunt objects, and I have formatted them and duplicated them a couple times onto the page. So now our poster is almost done, but now what we need is the smoke and the clouds. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. So I'm going to take the Bezier tool, and then I'm going to individually draw the smoke strokes out. Usually I would just try and go on to a website like FreePick, and I just would have gotten a vector of the smoke strokes, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to draw them out individually. And to be honest, drawing them out individually usually makes them look the best. So yeah. And as you can see, that's the first smoke stroke drawn out, and I just want to move it and place it right there. So for a couple of these joints, I'm going to use the same smoke stroke, but I'm going to create a couple more smoke strokes with different lengths, different widths, different curves, different contours, and all of that, so that there's at least a variety of smoke moving around in our image. And now what I want to do is to just create another smoke stroke. And like I said, I'm going to do this by utilizing the Bezier tool to create it. So what I'm going to do is just grab my Bezier tool and go on to the AI generated image of that we use to trace most of our affected objects. So what I want to do is just grab the Bezier tool, like I said, go onto that image and start tracing so that you create the illustration of the smoke stroke. Don't be afraid to make mistakes as you're tracing, because we're still going to use the nodes tool to clean up our corners and make them smoother, make them more rounded, make them sharper if we want to, and all of that. So now this is the third stroke that I'm going to create, and as you can see, this one is more rounded and it has more room of error and all that stuff, which makes me really like it because it's very hard to determine the direction of smoke. So I think this illustrates its free form and how it's just not something that can be drawn as simple as that, but something that has to have intentional mistakes within it. So once again, I'm just going to use the Bezier tool, go onto that canvas, and then start tracing. Use the nodes tool to clean it up. Now I just want to move some of these objects around so I can create a better format on the image. The layout is not really important because it's not something that we want to be professional. We just want everything to be more or less randomized, but we're still going to ensure that the layout still gives off a feeling that we want to incorporate into the poster. So I'm just going to move these around until I'm satisfied. There's not really a science or an art to the thing. It's just moving random things in random places, really. Moving the smoke strokes in different places, duplicating them, putting them there, duplicating them, putting them there, deleting them, putting them there. It's all really to your choosing. Now this is the next smoke stroke that I want to illustrate, and once again I'm going to use the Bezier tool to trace it, and then I'm going to use the nose tool to smoothen it out. So now what I want to do is to keep playing with the overall format until I'm satisfied. I'll duplicate some strokes, move them there, duplicate some strokes, move them there. It's not really an art or science. Like I said, it's just moving random things into random places until you're satisfied. Okay, now what I want to do is to create an effect that looks like the joint that's moving behind the zero is actually moving through the zero. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the joint, and I'm going to click Control D to duplicate that that object, and then I'm going to grab the eraser tool, and I'm going to erase where it goes over the circle, at the top of the circle, and then I'm just going to leave the one at the bottom of the circle so that it makes it look looks like it's going through the circle. And then I'm just gonna erase on the top so that we can see the burning part of the joint still. That is how I created these two posters, and then I'm sure you can guess how I created the second variant. I just clicked onto the numbers and I clicked the dropper tool, and I just selected the green color on screen so that it changed it to the green color. Then I did that too for the background when I was exporting the image. Then I changed the favicon, as you can see in the bottom, to the green, same as the numbers. But what I'd just like to say is thank you for watching this video, and I'd like to ask again that you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.